Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Well, actually, I did. I'm the one who set up the camera. Anyway, today's video is going to be a recap of the year, including a little bit of time before that, since there's not that much to catch up on. So let's go back to 2017. Lots of my beginning writing isn't documented or has been deleted because I didn't think the quality of the videos was worth keeping, especially compared to how they've changed over time to now. Since there was no mic setup and it was on a GoPro session, it was like a Hero 4. On top of that, I downloaded most of my videos with a school laptop when I was still in high school because it was the fastest way of transferring footage I had at the time. And when I had to turn it in the end of the year, I lost most of my videos because a lot of them I just didn't really think were worth keeping. So because of this, we'll start with the oldest videos I still have from 2017. This video is kind of what started it all. I grew up riding dirt bikes, but I wasn't really big into them until around 15 or 16. And at this time, Riley had been buying and selling dirt bikes as a side hustle for a while. Riley was starting to get pretty good at wheelies and rode one out a little too long, causing him to crash and break his wrist. Because of this, I was brought along to help test ride most of his dirt bikes, which were usually 450s and 252 strokes. Later down the road, he started getting Ninja 300s instead of dirt bikes, and that led me to riding my first street bike. Here we have a video of me on an R1, July 24th, 2019. So pretty big gap in between, kind of when everything got started and when I actually started riding. On this day, I got to ride a Ninja 300 for the first time, and on the way back, Riley thought I was already doing good enough, I guess, to try out the R1. I didn't have my own helmet yet, so I was using a chest mount with my Hero Session. It's a perfect example of a video I think is too bad to keep, but it's also good to see how far my videos have progressed within kind of the short time. Because of the experience this R1 brought me, I decided to get a 600 Super Sport as my first motorcycle. So I started saving. When I was 17 in my senior year of high school, I finally bought my first motorcycle, the 2004 Yamaha R6. I think I bought this bike for $2,300 with about 16,000 miles. A lot of people say that 600s are not really a good beginner's motorcycle. I think it just depends. Since I had started out with like the 450s and 252 strokes that Riley let me ride, I was already used to throttle control, all the type of, like I wasn't going to throw myself off of a 600, but I guess that's not really what most people think is the problem with starting on a big bike. It's more about, if you can control it in the top end, which I couldn't at first. I couldn't really handle the bike as well as like a dirt bike or anything, but I got used to it pretty quick, and that's one of the things about why I'm kind of just including everything from the beginning to now, is because really I feel like I've kind of came a long way, especially considering I probably only ride like once a week. I pretty much only ride when I'm recording, so just about every video I've posted throughout 2020 is every time I ride or have rode. It's probably, I'd say maybe double that. I started off with a GoPro Hero Session. I think it was like a 4th generation or something. So it's not really that. It was good at the time compared to nothing else. But there was definitely better cameras already out. Now I have the Hero 7 Black, which is one of the reasons I don't really keep, or didn't really want to keep, a lot of my old videos. I didn't have a mic set up. I didn't have, as good of image quality. There was a lot of stuff about, my earliest recordings that really just wasn't that good, and in my opinion wasn't worth keeping. Because of that, I probably don't have nearly as much recorded for the first motorcycle that I had, and all the time that I spent learning and progressing in that, kind of the beginning stages, but that's not really as interesting to watch anyway. Since fast riding and all that's kind of just the same all the time, just fast, dangerous, kind of scary, whatever. I don't really know how other people view watching it, but to me it's kind of all just the same. And it's kind of just been the same since I first got my first motorcycle. I've gotten better at riding, but it's really not. I don't feel like, as far as like for video, it doesn't really look that much different. It doesn't seem like the progression has been as drastic as like in the case of the wheelies. So I think for the next clips, I'm just gonna kind of show. Probably gonna start now with the 2014 R6. I got this bike on like August 26, 2020, I think. So honestly, I really didn't have it very long before I sold it and got a 636. But within the time that I had it, like, I really hadn't been very good with the wheelies on the 2004 R6, and it was actually easier to do wheelies on that bike. But I really just, I guess, hadn't really been trying very hard to get better at it. So this 2014 R6, and it was a horrible wheelie bike. I mean, it was terrible. It's the reason that I got a 636. But it's kind of it's the bike that holds like the most progression in the shortest amount of time, I think. And honestly, it's also just a really cool looking bike. So I'm just gonna show some clips of kind of how much changed during the time that I had that bike. Also, just like the first bike, got the first bike for $2,300, sold it for $28. I sold it with so many problems. And then when it came to this R6, it was 10 years newer, and I got it for $4,000. Once again, thank you to Riley for getting me these crazy deals. And then how could I forget, this is the first bike that I not really crashed, but I guess just dropped while I was moving, threw me off, whatever. It's the first bike that hasn't just been completely still when it fell. So, that was pretty memorable. I wouldn't really call that progression, but it was definitely like another stepping stone, I guess, or whatever you would want to consider it, to different riding experiences. All that really happened was snapping the handlebars. I mean, it didn't really look any worse than it did before. Every bike that I've bought so far has already been dropped, so can't really look much worse unless I like seriously crash it. But I don't know if I mentioned it, that 2014 R6 I got for $4,000, and then even after dropping it and whatever, cracking some fairing pieces and all that, sold it for, I think, $5,200. So I mean, it's not like I'm buying these bikes for profit or anything. I just think it's interesting. So far I've a pretty good track record of buying them in a better condition and selling them in a worse, and still selling them for more, which I think is pretty cool. So at this point, I had that 2014 R6 for like 3 months, and it was totally worth it. It was one of the coolest looking bikes in my opinion, and it was from the very beginning. It's the one that I always wanted, at least the type of design. It's what I had always wanted. So it was really awesome to get a chance to have that for a while. But then we moved on to the Kawasaki 636. I think I got that one, at least for when I published the first video of it, was November 19th, 2020. So I guess that means I've only had that bike for about a month and a half. And I have to say, that bike is probably my favorite bike so far. When I first rode Riley's, I didn't really think I liked the way the Kawasaki's feel that much. But I think it turned out to just be his handlebars or his grips or whatever were just not very comfortable. Because as soon as I was on that bike, test riding it, it felt so great. And I didn't care much for the look of it at first. I was kind of just getting it for the functionality, like, oh cool, I get a gear shifter indicator thing. I get, something that's way better for wheelies. I don't know. There's probably more stuff. I don't remember right now. But yeah, once I got that bike, if I'm not really that tall of a person, so like one of the cool things about it is like, hey, I can finally flat foot this bike, because that R6 was so tall, like it was ridiculous. I was on my tippy toes everywhere. This bike, I mean, it was just so much more comfortable. Like it just fit me so much better. And I was saying, like, I didn't really care much for the look, but it's really grown on me over time. At this point, I'd probably take the look of this Kawasaki over the R6. It might just be biased now that I've had it, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, like, I was putting feel and looks aside, all that, just to get something that was supposed to be so much better at wheelies. and boy was everybody right when they said this thing was so much easier, because yeah, it is. Like, my wheelies have got so much better within like the month and a half that I've had this bike. And I forgot to tell a story, I guess. But one of the cool things about getting this bike was it was like it was meant to be. Because I was sending Riley like I was sending Riley like pictures and like OfferUp listings, Facebook listings, whatever, of all these 636s. And one of them, like, I saw this one, the one that I got, I saw it, and I was like, but I was messaging literally everybody on all these, platforms with the 636. I was like, would you take 4,500? Because, I was like, I'll just ask everybody. Somebody's bound to say yes, right? And so the guy who I got my bike from said yeah. And I was like, oh, sick, dude. Like, let's meet up, whatever. And then it turned out he's in Arkansas. So I was like, crap, dude. Like, I didn't realize you were 6 hours away. My bad. So I just kind of forgot about it. And so I started looking at these other ones, and I was sending them to Riley. And there was one of them that was pretty good, and he's like, it's in Arkansas, but if you can get him to go for like 4,000, then we'll go up there. And I was like, oh, dude, I didn't realize that was in Arkansas. But wait, if you're okay with going to Arkansas, then check this one out. And so I sent him the one that I got, which obviously we didn't know I was gonna get it at the time, but it was like, go for it, dude, like hyping it up. Like, it turned out what made it feel like it was meant to be was it actually turned out that weekend I was supposed to be going to Arkansas for like a camping trip. And sadly Riley wasn't able to tag along, but like, life happens and all that. But I didn't have to go out of my way for this bike, even though it was in Arkansas, because we were just going up there anyway. So it's just a really cool story. It was like it was meant to be. It was like everything felt right about it. And then checking it out, like, it was kind of, there was issues here and there. One of the things, I mean, he said this, it was funny, this guy said this bike was showroom condition, and I get there and there's like scratches on certain parts, like nothing I haven't seen before, because every bike that I've bought has been dropped. But like, this guy had a brake lever, or not a brake lever, well, yeah, the front brake lever was like broken off and made with a socket. So it's like, looking at these things, and it was missing a left mirror. Like, looking at some of these things, it's like, showroom condition, like, what are you talking about? This thing has like been dropped on both sides or something. But I didn't really care. I was kind of looking past these things, because, well, to me, the way a bike looks, like, if it's been dropped, if it's got scratches, it really doesn't matter. Because, I mean, to be honest, I want to learn a lot of different types of like stunt related things on these bikes. So it's kind of like, I figured I'm gonna drop it anyway, it doesn't really matter. But it's, there were certain hiccups here and there where it was making me think like, oh, this guy's not going to show up or whatever. And I guess overall the reason why he sold it for $4,500 to me, being a 2015, which he said had 3,000 miles, turned out had like 5,600. It still really didn't matter. I was kind of looking past all these things, because it's like, we came up here, it's 6 hours away. It's like, I really don't want to do anything that ends up making me go home without this bike. So I kind of was just looking past all these things, and it's really not a big deal to me anyway. But just kind of telling the story of how everything went. And so test rode it, got it. Right now I'm having some title issues with it. I didn't know. I mean, I kind of knew what to look for, and I knew when I was looking at this title for this bike, it looked whack. Basically, everybody that has owned this bike, like, somebody bought it from a dealership, never changed the title, and then they've transferred it as if they were dealers, like signing the back of the title without ever transferring their name for the title. And so I'm gonna have to get a bonded title now, which kind of sucks. It means I really didn't get as good of a deal on the bike as I could have, but it's kind of whatever. Like, I already have it, it's my problem now. I never even changed the title for the other bike, but I'm just kind of, I would prefer to make things more legal on this bike, like I did on the first one, just because you never know what circumstance you're going to be when like a cop tries to pull you over or something. So yeah, that's basically how my 2020's gone. It's been a little bit, more than 2020 that I've covered in this video, I guess. But for the most part, you know, I was just trying to cover everything, and you know, also make it into a video where you guys can know a little bit more about me, and you know, kind of like why I've switched through like 3 different bikes. College will also be starting back up soon. I don't really think that'll affect my uploading or anything like that. I mean, I already got through the first semester of college, and y'all probably didn't even really know that, except for the video that I made when the semester was ending and I was going and returning my books and whatever. But yeah, in case y'all didn't know that, I am in college and gonna be going back soon, but I'm only taking like 3 classes a semester, so kind of doubt that it's really gonna make me not be able to upload. I mean, I don't really upload a whole lot right now anyway. I only ride like once a week, so I kind of really doubt it'll affect anything. But just so you'll know, if you know I'm going a while without uploading, it's probably why. I also want to say thank you to everybody that's been leaving all these nice comments on my videos. I kind of expected when I first started posting more of these videos to get a lot of hate comments. I allow all comments. I don't like filter them. I don't put on the settings to like, you know, make me approve anything. So, but back when, you know, Rendon or Jigshaw was, you know, not as big as he is now, I used to just see that there were so many people hating on his like videos, calling him like, Squid, you're stupid, you're whatever for doing this. And so it's just really cool to me that like I'm getting like pretty much only positive comments as far as I know. Lately I've got a decent amount of comments on like some of the bigger videos. I didn't even realize until I was making this video and going and like checking, you know, like dates and stuff on other stuff, that I've had some that were getting like 300 views and 100 views, like whatever. Those are some of my biggest videos right now. So those have like a couple comments from like random people. But I've noticed that like people like Noah P and Natalie Rios, y'all are like consistently commenting on a lot of my videos, and I just think that's really cool, that people who I don't really know in person or have never met, or like, you know, just these random names showing up under my comments, and it's like, I wonder who this is. Like I'll check out your profile and stuff usually, and I'm always checking the comments. It's usually not right after I post a video, but like the next day or something, I'm going and I'm looking at it. And so, you know, if you guys ever want to see something specific, like if you would rather see me going fast than the wheelies, or more wheelies than going fast, or if you want to see me ride with Riley more or ride alone more, like whatever you want to see, just let me know and I'll see what I can make it happen. Because right now I kind of just like, you know, if I'm gonna go do something or Riley's gonna do something, we'll just go ride together or whatever, and I'll just record it. I don't really like go out specifically like thinking of an idea of like what to make, and I also don't really like talk to the camera that much. I'm not like as much of like a motor vlogger as like I just kind of record myself riding and make something out of it, because I enjoy editing and making stuff. So if you guys want to see something a bit more specific, I guess just comment it. I'm sure I'll see it, and I might be able to make it happen. So thanks for watching.